Okay, Revelation. This is her requested topic, but anyone are free to interject their question within these 30 minutes. Revelation 12. Is it the woman or just the whole chapter 12?
Woman.
Woman. Okay. So this is your main question, the woman, not the whole chapter 12.
Pwede rin, whole chapter.
I'll focus on the woman, then later we can go to chapter 12. Okay, so so let's open our Bibles to Revelation chapter 12. So since this will be very short, I'll be very fast. I will not have time to detail too much. What does verse 1 say? Could you read for us? I ask everyone to open their scriptures and please read for us. Okay, verse 1, Brother Sister Lucy. The other verses, get ready.
There occurred a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
So it's like throwing Mary. A crown of 12 stars,
Yeah.
clothed with the sun. I'm
Moon under
getting
her
inspiration
feet.
from Catholic image.
Moon under her feet.
And the moon,
Under her feet.
they go like this. Crescent moon under her feet. Okay.
Verse 2.
So yes, verse 2.
Verse 2. And she being with child cried, traveling in birth and pain to be delivered. Child.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna give my explanation. There are other aspects of chapter 12 that are too lengthy in different subjects. I used to focus here. I have a fresh revelation on the child. So it's not the woman, but since it's part of it, I can still say it later. So let's focus on the woman. So of course, learning from Brother Jackson, it is Israel. Okay? Israel woman. Brother Branham was reading from the Seventh-day Adventists. He also mentioned this is the church. I thought it was Euro Frank who said that. Brother Gan read from Euro Frank's red book. He said, oh, so too messy, too messed up. But Brother Frank didn't get it from by himself. I think he got it from Brother Branham. But before I learned it was Brother Branham's statements, I saw something here. Israel and the church are parallels. Are parallels. When you say parallel, you look at the 7 church ages. Sister Lucy, where's the other one? Brother Freddy, could you lift that one up? So focus on the video here. No, the other one. Lift the other one. I'm holding this, you hold the other one. The 7 church ages is 1 week. The first week, 7 years in the dream of Pharaoh interpreted by Joseph. This is 7 years plenty. The other 7 years in the dream of Pharaoh, that is 7 years drought. So 7, if that dream has a typology here, the church ages and the tribulation period are parallel. Here in the illustration of Brother Khan, they occupy the same amount of space. But in reality, that's 7 years. This is 2,000 years. Okay? But whatever the disproportion, this proportionateness, they're still parallel. When you say parallel, what happened in the church ages will be repeated in the tribulation. So let me show some parallels. I could use that. If you could still raise it up. In the church ages, could you hold it up, Barlito? Here, just here. In the church ages, I'm going to hold this, get the other one. Get the other one. So just stack this like a card, like cards inside. So cards. Here in the church ages, the 10th century, the papacy declared infallibility. Did you know that?
Yes.
They're Pope Boniface or Pope Innocent, not so innocent. And the Crusades were started from that time, the 10th century. Now, what happened in the tribulation period? In the middle of the week, the Antichrist, the papacy, will break the covenant, and it will start a new inquisition, but of course for the rest of the world. So there are parallels here, the church age and the tribulation. Now, Brother Jackson said the woman fled to the wilderness he was referring to Israel fleeing to the United States. Have you read that, Brother Andrew? Heard that teaching? Okay. Of course, I just spoon-fed that as a kid, as a child. But later I realized it happened in the church ages. The United States could not withdraw one whole nation to their country. So, it literally took place in the church. Could you stack this up to the other one? It literally happened in the church. In the 15th century, the Plymouth Brethren escaped to the New World to escape the wrath, the wars in Europe. They wanted freedom. It literally was the United States. So, what happened is, there's a mix-up between Israel and the church. They are both parallels. They could both apply to the woman. The 12 stars of Israel are the 12 tribes. The 12 stars of the church are the 12 apostles. That's why there are 25 thrones, or 24 thrones, besides the Lamb. 25 including Christ. So 24, the rest. 12. So that's how others understood it. The woman, not just the woman, this is just a generalization of the book of Revelation. You don't read the book of Revelation on a one-track mind. When you read the book of Revelation, you could see parallelisms. A while ago, I talked about Revelation 10. There was Brother Branham and there were the two prophets. But we can safely say they are parallels. Although one is much more closer to the application than the other, even though we understood it differently before. So, the same thing here. The stars crown of stars has application for both Israel and the church. Let's talk about the sun and the moon. How Brother Jackson explained it, my pastor explained it, Pastor Williamson. The sun is the millennial, do you recall that? Millennial glory of Israel. The moon is the law. Of course, the sun is the millennial glory. But how about the church? What about the sun applied to the church? Well, you know the Son of Righteousness. You know who the Son of Righteousness is? Not S-O-N, but S-U-N. Rise in your hearts. Who is the Son of Righteousness? Jesus Christ. It's still the millennial glory. Also in the millennium. How about the moon? Can the law be under its feet? Now this is how Brother Jackson explained it, but it applies to both Israel and the church. The moon borrows light from the sun. The moon is just a shadow of the sun. The light of the law comes from the sun. We go to the true light. The moon just points us to that light. It's for both Israel and the church. So parallelism has many applications. I'll show you one application of the church ages. Do you know that the 7 churches originally were literal churches in Asia? That's the first application. The second application, it's an age. In every age. Is there a third application? Yes. For each believer to overcome. It's also a message to each believer to overcome, to each church. So some denominational churches only apply to that way. They reject the other way, the other application of ages. But you have to read the book of Revelation as containing multiple applications. So, now let's go to the child. She being, what's the word, exact word? She being with child. Is that the right word?
Being with child.
Being with child. Travail in pain. Great pain. This child would be given the rod to rule all nations. Have you read that? Of course, I'm reading it in advance. Please read that so that we could be faster. The child, the child that would be given birth will be given a rod that would rule all nations. But the child, when it was given birth, was to be devoured by a dragon. Let's talk about parallel applications. Can this be Jesus Christ?
Yes.
The child was caught up to heaven, was sent there. Now, is this Jesus Christ? Was he about to be devoured by a dragon?
No.
Yes or no? Anyone?
No.
Others? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
The answer is yes. Majority is. Anyway, Jesus Christ was a type. Now, what about literal Israel? Brother Jackson explained this.
144,000.
Later. First, Brother Jackson's explanation. The woman is the nation Israel, and her child are her population. And there's a scripture, Isaiah 66. 65?
I think 65.
Is it 66 or 65? Could you correct me? Could you help me out?
65.
I remember 66, you remember 65. Please confirm it. Some of you, please open up your Bibles. So, being that she travailed, she did not travail, and she gave birth 4 children, like that. So, it has application to the children of Israel, or the population of Israel. Now, but how does she have a rod that rule all nations? Except for conspiracy theories and protocols of the elders of Zion. So, as a nation Israel, before my old one cracked man, I also thought of Jesus Christ. Israel gave birth to Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus Christ was about to be devoured by the dragon. The dragon was the attempt in the life of Jesus Christ. Now, but wait, was there an attempt in the life of Israel when the nation was born?
Yes.
So there are parallels. See? Now let's go to the church. Was there an attempt to stamp out the church?
Yes.
There was, right? They all ran these parallels. Now, if it's Jesus Christ, it's easy to understand. The child will grow up to be a man, be caught up to God, and will rule all nations with a rod of iron. If it's Jesus Christ. Now, how about Israel and the church? I'll give you the straight answer right now. Israel will become the central government in the millennium. As though the protocols of elders of life will come true. Okay? So that's on the physical part. Now let's talk about the church. This is my fresh new understanding of the child. The child here, and I wish to acknowledge for the others that contributed me. I've known beforehand Jehovah's Witnesses. What do they teach about the child? What do they teach about the child?
Jesus Christ.
No.
No, it's not Jesus
The
Christ.
Jehovah's Witnesses teach that
144.
it's their organization, the Watchtower organization, their group. Well, it's not just them. Sometime later, when I was old, I read from an art magazine by Dating Daan, Eliseo Soriano. He explained it's the church. It's the birth of their church. Actually, it's their organization too. And something sparked in me to see this. This is not exactly just Jesus Christ. Yes, this is Jesus Christ. This is also the church that will be transformed. This child that will be born, that is the same with what was mentioned in Thessalonians, that there is travailing within us. Of course, if we travail, if we have birth pains, we say we are giving birth to believers. But more than that, as an individual believer, and also the whole church. This new born child is the new man that will be born in us. You get the picture? The new man is that what which started as a born again experience for every believer. New birth. And this child that will grow to be a man and will rule with a rod of iron will be called up to God. When the church, when others say super church, well, not just that, becomes a kingdom. This talks about something transforming into a kingdom when it rules with a rod of iron. It is the believers that will be taken up. They will also be given a rod to rule all nations. It's written in the promise in Thyatira. Am I correct? Or Sardis. I read that to them that overcomes, you will be given a rod to rule the nations with a rod of iron. And the nations will be made to bow down before your feet and worship. Worship before your feet. So, what happens to Jesus Christ, Israel literally, also will happen to the church. And what is being given birth is the new man in us. We are travailing to that point. And Romans chapter 8 talks about travailing. To that point, that the manifestation of the sons of God, that is that man-child. I'm going to call this a man-child. That child will grow up to be a man. What is she giving birth? This. And ruling with a rod of iron, we will reign as co-kings with Christ in another realm, different from Israel. So this is my short presentation on the man-child connected with the woman. Question.
Clarification, Brother Francis.
Come close to my
In man-child giving the new birth, is it resurrected or glorified body?
Amen.
Yes. Brother Eric, just speak louder so to record it.
So you speak while ago that the child, there is a transformation into a new man. Is there a possible that the transformation from the child to the bride? Or
Yes.
from the bride,
We are right now the bride.
excuse me, from the child, new man, to the bride, and to the wife?
Yes.
Is that
When
transformation?
you say wife, well, mentally, you're perfect, mature. But there's also a physical transformation. And the end of it is the resurrection. When you reach that point, you will rule with a rod of iron. You will be like Christ. What He has, you will inherit also. Very Magellan.
If the child is the new man transforming, according to the scripture, he was fleeing to the wilderness. Where is that fleeing the wilderness?
Okay. First application is what I said a while ago. Historically, the wilderness is still the United States, but it's just the church that fled there. Yes, Israel is diaspora, not just the United States. Although United States, there are more Jews there today. So that's historical. Now, how about today as a believer, but as a church? Historically, the church passed through that because the church is not just one of us, but all of us. So all of us is the whole church, starting from Ephesus to Laodicea. So the fleeing in the wilderness is being answered there. How about individual? Do we have our own wilderness? That's another parallel. That's personal.
Yes.
So collectively, the church is a man-child that will become a child that will become a man that will rule the nations, because it's part of the body of Christ. Christ is the head, the church is the body. But when it transforms, it becomes a new man. One new man in front of Christ. Adam and Eve. So individual. There are other parallel symbolisms for individual, like our wilderness, our fleeing, the dragon, it was our trials. Those are minor things, but I'm talking about collectively. Even collectively, we know within us there is a born-again experience. There's a new man being born in us. Okay? No more questions? Let's give God a big hand.